Well, welcome to the State of the Community Address. My name is Becky Wolf, and I'm the President and CEO of the Andover Area Chamber of Commerce. And we are hosting this event. And I want to thank Dr. Kroll and Butler Community College for allowing us to use this facility and also to have all the technology that we're able to have today. So we appreciate that very much to be able to do that. I want to thank the city, the county, the college, and the school district for partnering with us and sharing their message. We have all had to be very creative this last year and going into the first quarter of this year. So things are happening, they're going, and we're excited about the future and what's going to happen in Andover. I want to let you know that this program is being recorded for all of our use. We have several people joining us by Zoom. Special thanks to Dr. Kroll and Butler for the use of the rooms again. We appreciate it very much.
Glad you're here.
So at this time, we're going to allow each of the speakers, presenters to talk, and we'll hold the questions until afterwards. And so we have index cards and pins at your place. So I encourage you to write your questions down for whichever presenter so you don't forget them, and we'll get started. So first off, it's my privilege to be able to introduce the mayor of Andover, Mr. Ronnie Price.
Thank you. It still makes me smile to hear that. So it was a quite an interesting year to start out with, and Jennifer McCloskey had the mayor and 3 brand new council members to deal with, and as luck would have it, the same day I got inaugurated, so did COVID-19. So we started the year together, and but the city quickly pivoted to make our facilities safer for all the workers and all the people that entered City Hall. We had a lot of support from the county health department and COVID testing efforts, and the administration oversaw hundreds and thousands of dollars in grants. Our public safety people worked diligently to participate in weekly planning and update meetings in Butler County and with Butler County Health Department and Emergency Management Departments regarding COVID. City administration spent countless hours communicating with leadership from local governments as well as state, trying to seek understanding, just to find out where we're all going to go with this. I mean, it was so fluid, it changed continually. You know, I often got questions from the public, why aren't you sending more things out? Because by the time I get it, it's changed before I can get somewhere to change it. So it was very interesting, and conversations ranged from topics related to stay-at-home orders, masks, testing, more recently the vaccinations, and our fire marshal did a fantastic job in getting doing the hard work and heavy lifting to get that to our city. I just want to tell them thank you all while we're here. Staff across all departments worked countless hours, countless other ways to lift up the community during these trying times. For example, hosting a drive-by Easter parade, reading children's books online at bedtime, encouraging weekly candlelit vigils in neighborhoods on Sunday night, which I participated in, and I thought it was just heartwarming, and I think it helped people to know we're all in this together, right? Our whole community. And that's one thing I'd just like to stop and say real quick. This is why Jenny gives me notes, because I get carried away. So the name of this is State of the Community. So Andover is a small city, but our family is much larger than that. Our community is much larger than that. The 385 school district, community college, we're all in this together. And COVID was a nuisance at least, a nightmare at best, you know. But it made us stop and think about, you know, when we were stuck in our houses, how much we miss our neighbors and what have you, right? So I tried to look at the positive side of things, and that was one of the positives that we realized that, hey, we kind of need each other's company. We want each other's company, but we have to do it safely. So the city, not really, the city, the city leaned in and on and in with outstanding community partners. Some of they're represented here today. Like I said, the Andover Chamber of Commerce, USD 385 School District, Butler Community College, and Butler County. And it was, while it was difficult, and trying a lot, very trying, we all worked together to get through our differences and the things we agreed on. So it was good. And although COVID colored everything we planned to do in 2020, we still accomplished many things, and despite the constant cloud overhead. I'm going to take time to point out a few, but I'm only going to hit the highlights. Please refer. Doggone, I'm having a little trouble today. I just got from Nat. Please reference the handout we provided for more detail on 2020 accomplishment and things to come in 2021. So one of the highlights was scheduled street improvements. Work continued through widening 159th between Central and 13th, and it caused a lot of growing pains because traffic had to go somewhere else. So it spread it around, but anything like that is going to cause some headaches. Rerouted, reduced to one lane at times. The infrastructure improvement was huge for those who regularly travel 159th. Excuse me. As traffic continues to increase in Andover Road, the importance of 159 to back this main road up becomes more evident. Oh, and I'm kind of proud of this. With regard to local legislative changes, the governing body overturned the dog breed specific law that had been in Andover for almost 2 decades. All are welcome in Andover, and this applies to dogs too. The police department experienced another low crime year. Some of because of COVID and the great, but it's also the great work that they do. Calls for services were down in 2020 by 12%. Again, as you would imagine, considering COVID-19, traffic stops were down by almost 18%. Overall, reported crimes were down by 9.6%. Finally, total motor vehicle accidents were down almost 24%. And in March, police department was again approved and recertified by the Commission of Accreditation on Law Enforcement Agencies, affectionately known as CALEA. The department was unanimously awarded the Advanced Law Enforcement Certification. The Andover Police Department first achieved this distinction in 2013, having demonstrated compliance with a comprehensive set of over 360 police standards, which are best practices that reflect the current thinking and experience of national law enforcement practitioners and researchers. 2020 illustrated how important it is for a police department to be regularly evaluated by an outside expert agency. Oh, additionally, this is cool. The Andover 911 Dispatch Center received its first communication certification, making it the first dispatch center to be nationally accredited in Kansas. That's a big deal. So congratulations. With regard to development of Andover, we did not experience a slowdown despite the COVID virus. Single family homes were up, permits were up 47% from 2019. 7 commercial buildings permits were pulled. 45 residential projects utilized the neighborhood revitalization program in 2020. With regards to recreation events, obviously we had to cancel just about everything, right? Baseball, softball, all recreational sports. But thanks to Sparks funding, there is some good news. Passed through and awarded by Butler County, the city purchased over 400 new baseball, softball helmets, so each participant in 2021 will be issued their own helmet. So that will help us with spreading the COVID, hopefully, huh? This purchase will help ensure the safety of participants even if the pandemic lingers into summer of 2021, and help ensure that some levels of normalcy and recreation can be returned to our community's youth, which is huge. Oh yeah, COVID canceled all the anticipated amphitheater events uh, and Greater Andover Days, and staff had used some out of the box thinking and thinking and found a way to safely host some of the smaller events, which are listed in your handout. The fire department had some exciting news to wrap up 2020. We signed the papers for land on the south side of Kellogg at corner of Minnehaha and Andover Road in December. This will be the future site for our second fire station. So the way our city's growing and things, it will be a blessing and when spreading our community, making our community safer on the south end. Also, during the fourth quarter of the year, residents were able to end on a high note and enjoy additional Christmas lights at Central Park along Yorktown Parkway and 21st Street. The Public Works Department added considerably to the outdoor holiday lighting displays. To name a few, there was 133 strands of solar lights, 150 strands of LED lights, 30 floodlights, 2,000 linear feet of luminaries, and 3 custom LED Christmas lights. So the good part of that is it got us all to thinking, the community, city staff, and the governing body, that hey, we need to get up to speed with everybody else's parks and have more Christmas lights. So that's on the horizon in 2021 and possibly in 2021 if we can figure out where to get the money, and definitely in 2022. And that's largely based on the community reactions from the community and everybody involved, really. So we're wanting to go forward with hopefully every year from now on, adding to our park and having beautiful Christmas displays. So there's some good things that come from COVID. All right, from a financial point of view, while many of the governments, this is many of the municipalities around us really struggled financially through the COVID and because of COVID, but Andover not only got through it, we excelled a little bit. We thrived to the extent we could. Reserves of at least 25% of every property tax fund, including the general fund, 5-to-1 asset to liability ratio, AA rating from S&P, recognition for excellent in financial reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association for the 41st year, and highest sales tax collection to date. And as much as I'd like to take credit for it, a lot of folks went out and bought a whole lot of toilet paper and water and stuff like that. But we'll take it, right? Whatever it takes to get the sales tax revenue, I'm in. So, all right. So kicking off 2021, and staff's really been working hard on this, and they drag me along with them. City's kicking off 2021 in master plan mode. All at the same time, these things are going to be going on. City officials will be working on the next park master plan, a strategic plan to help us dial in and focus on the things we do agree on and the things we can change, and not so much on the things we can't. Just to dial in a focus on what's best for our citizens and our city. So I'm excited about the strategic plan. A comprehensive study of the wastewater plant and treatment process. All these things will build a strong foundation for the next 10-year comprehensive plan, which will begin in earnest in 2022. Be on the watch out for ways to get involved in that. We'll have outreach to the community via surveys, meetings that we'll invite people to. It's not going to be the governing body and staff making all these decisions. We're going to be reaching out to find out what the citizens of Andover want in regards to the park, Just about all these things will, in one way or another, will involve the community to find out what's the best way forward and what we'd really like as a community, and that includes 385 and Butler Community College. We want everyone involved. So, in fact, we do have involved in the strategic plan, correct? And I'm not sure about PRAB. We reached out to all levels of our citizenry to do the park recreation and advisory board. So there's a lot coming. Good things coming. Okay, this is on a seriously on a somber note. We're running up on April 26, 2021. It will mark the 30th anniversary of the F5 tornado that changed the landscape of Andover forever. Not just Andover, their surrounding communities. 13 lives were lost after the tragic event, and the city hopes that some kind of public gathering can be held on the anniversary to reflect on the important date in our history. Man, this just affected everybody everywhere, and it was hard to swallow. I went around the corner trying to get home. I was at Boyne. I went around the corner at what we called the Tawakoni Road. And my whole family, I just moved out there. My children, my mom, my dad, we're all out there, right? And I turned the corner and the first house there was gone. And I didn't want to go no further. I didn't want to go any further. Thank goodness everything was okay, but there was a lot of people that suffered a lot. So let's if nothing else on April 26th, 2021, take a moment out of your day and just remember the folks that lost a lot, and some lost everything, and stop and say a prayer for them if you would. On the economic development front, the city's first ever, this is kind of cool. On the economic development front, the city's first ever TIF district, the Heritage will continue to develop. Additionally, this development is planning to utilize community improvement district tool as well. The Heritage will ultimately add 110 acres of multi-purpose development in Andover, to Andover. In 2021, the developers plan to break ground on a 168 unit luxury apartment complex. The Heritage Commons and the courtyards at Heritage Housing Development, located in the same district, are expected to build out and thrive. And these gentlemen are very anxious to get going. Besides the Parks Master Plan, there's other exciting upgrades coming to some of our parks and recreation facilities. And in the Central Park, a new disc golf course will be opening up very soon, by spring. And the city looks forward to hosting some competitive and non-competitive disc golf tournaments for years to come. So it's going to be good for young people to have someplace else to, and old people, right, Troy, to go hang out. A step towards a requested improvement to the Redbud Trail Park was made when the city was awarded a recreational trail grant to build a restroom at the park in 2022 by Kansas Wildlife Parks and Tourism. The city has until September 30th of 24 to utilize the grant and work towards completing this project. So that's our goal, to have a restroom along the Redbud Trail. In regards to improvements of our park system, as well as the needed fire station, discussions about a temporary sales tax will occur in 2021. A vote on this matter may occur at the November election. Stay tuned for more information. Given the fact that our fires nearly doubled from 19 to 2020, the timing for the building a second station is right. And we also have to keep in mind that 400 is liable to change somewhere along the line. So when the construction is being done, it will be much safer for our South citizens to be protected. So that was one thing that was on my mind immediately when I got elected, is how are we gonna take care of our whole community when the highway comes through, if it comes through. All right. Okay, with regards to events, city staff and governing bodies are anxious to bring people back together as safely as possible starting this spring. And there's a lot of good news out there, so check our website and stuff. There's a lot of cool things coming. For example, in addition to 2 to 3 anticipated city-hosted concerts this summer, the city is thrilled to announce, this is a big deal, announced that Music Theater Wichita will be moving its 2021 season to the Capitol Federal Amphitheater. The shows will be April, May, July, and September, so be sure to check them out, put them on your calendars, and go watch them. The Police and Fire Foundation is optimistically planning to have a Police and Fire Festival on Saturday, June 5th. You want to put that in your calendar as well. The festival showcases Andover's excellent public safety staff and lets kids of all ages experience the equipment up close. And I will be there so I can play. And I am a child. This fall, the city will host a 54th annual Greater Andover Days Festival, September 30th through October 3rd in Central Park. And hopefully we'll have all this stuff behind us so we can have a good time and get everybody out into the park and open spaces. On December 9th, the hope is once again to hold a more traditional hometown Christmas. Additionally, the Community Light competition will again be promoted online in early December with interactive maps. In closing, provided by more growth than many of us would care for, how it did make many of those critical supports net stronger: employers, governing bodies, communities, neighborhoods, and perhaps even more importantly, families. As we look to these obstacles as opportunities, 2021 will provide us, 2020 will provide us, will move us forward with our chins held high, knowing we got this. So we have to, I look at, we don't have to, I look at it as we get an opportunity to do something special after something so we thought was going to devastate the world and in some fashion did. We have an opportunity before us to be even better than we were before. We've learned a lot about a lot of things, a lot about each other, a lot about how important it is for our kids to be in school. You know, we got used to just everything being hunky-dory, and sometimes it's a reality. So as mayor of Andover, I see it as an opportunity to reboot and think about time spent with our family and what it meant to us, and time away from our friends, what that had to do with us too. And so I really appreciate you all having me speak here today. And this time I will hand the floor over to Will Johnson. Perfect timing, sir.
Yeah.
I apologize. All right, there we go. Jenny bailed me out, so thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. I want to give a quick overview of the financial picture of the county, where we're at. The county last year had a $51 million budget with expenditures of around $45.5 million. We started 2020 with a cash surplus of about $4.3 million, ended with a $6.4 million cash surplus. So the majority of that was due to some unrestricted COVID funds that we shifted over to fill the gap for some projects that we're going to get completed by the 31st. But we did come under budget significantly, and we're able to move some cash there as we requested the majority of our departments because of COVID to scale back things. We're in a unique situation in Butler County beginning next year. We will be debt-free. The jail judicial building debt will pay off this fall, freeing up about $2.4 million in debt service payments for the county. Along with that, Keystone Pipeline and part of the BG Products project will have IRBs expiring and will come on the tax roll in 2022. So the county is going to be in a very unique situation where we're very financially sound. Our revenues are continuing to increase annually. We continue to see growth in Butler County, both commercial and residential. The commission's been fiscally conservative while being able to provide the services necessary to fulfill the needs of our citizens, and it's put us in a great position. Some of the 2020 highlights, I think we go back to the major project that we got thrust upon us in about June was the CARES Act relief funding, or what we call CRF funding. The county was distributed $13.8 million in the late summer of last year, and we had less than 6 months to put a plan together and have that money expended. And what it really came down to is we had about a 120-day window once all the rules, regs, and everything came out. And so we were on a very, very tight timeline. Of that 13.8, the county utilized 5.5 million for projects and programs within the county. 1.77 million was distributed out to cities for COVID-related projects or expenses. The county distributed 5.2 million out to school districts in Butler County for COVID-related expenses. There was $1 million distributed in grants, specifically a small business grant program I'll touch on here in a minute. And then there's another $500,000 that went to other agencies such as senior centers and South Central Mental Health for costs associated with their programs. Probably the most unique program and labor-intensive program we did was the small business grant program in cooperation with our local chambers. Andover was one of those chambers that participated in this program. We received of the 13.8, 795,000 in economic development aid dollars that we dedicated specifically to a small business grant program and distributed those funds out by population to our cities and to the unincorporated area of the county. We were able to move through that program in a 60-day period, taking applications and getting monies back out to small businesses and expend the whole amount. Along with that, we gave each of the chambers $10,000 to manage the program. So a great opportunity, and real proud we were able to put those dollars right back into the economy here in Butler County. Along with that, we did a nonprofit grant program as well for some of the nonprofits that we fund that were impacted by loss of revenue, specifically a lot of our senior centers who couldn't hold programs and such. That was about $100,000 that we distributed out to some of the nonprofits in Butler County. What's coming up next with CARES Act fund, we've all heard about the new stimulus plan and everything else. There is a significant amount of dollars coming in 2021, 22, and probably 23 for local government. Specifically, the county will receive about $13.1 million. Cities and townships in Butler County, in addition to the county allocation, will receive between $16.2 million and $19.4 million that'll come specifically to cities and townships. Now, not all of that money for cities and townships will find its way to Butler County because the majority of the townships will not be allowed to receive the money they're being allocated because they can only receive 75% of their operating budget. And for instance, Bruno Township is scheduled to receive over $2 million, and I think they have a $500,000 or $600,000 budget. So those monies that are in excess of the 75% will go back to the state of Kansas, who will then reallocate them out. And how that will occur, we don't know. There's a lot of details coming. What we're hearing is a lot of these funds will be non-restricted, and they may be spread out over a multi-year period. So within the next 30 days, we should have a lot of details on these plans, but some things to look forward to and look at in the future. It goes against a lot of our conservative fiscal planning and programming we do at the county, but if we do not utilize these dollars, they're going to be shifted back to somebody else, and we're going to find a way to utilize those for capital projects. Some major projects that were completed over the last year. One that's significant to this area is the roundabout at Southwest 150th and Butler Road. I'm going to call it completed, it'll be completed here in 2 weeks. Actually, we're just waiting on weather to clear so we can put down the last lift of the asphalt. But that's a very nice project we were able to accomplish over a short period of time, closing down the road, and it really brings an urban aspect to that area and a nice feature. So we're excited to see that project opened fully up to the public and see how it works. We were able to complete a drive-through vaccination and testing facility along with an EOC, Emergency Operations Center, and storage facility in Augusta for doing drive-through testing and vaccines that we'll begin probably using in April. That was through CARES Act funding. It was about a $2 million project. We also did major modifications to the community building in El Dorado to allow for drive-through testing and vaccination clinics in there as well. We added an additional ambulance for infectious disease response in our county as part of the COVID projects. And then we were able to purchase some replacement radios for law enforcement and EMS to allow for GPS tracking of our officers, and we spread out some of those radios to our municipalities. Some of the things we're looking forward to this year, and possibly with the new stimulus monies, a major project for the college, which will be Haverhill Road improvements. We've been trying to get economic development funds for that for several years, and the college has been a partner to help write letters of support for that project that would extend the 4-lane from Towanda south past the refinery on Haverhill Road and make a major improvement there for traffic flow. Continuation of the Butler Road improvements from Andover to Rose Hill is still a major priority for the county. And the county's looking at a new event center, multi-purpose facility, utilizing the old honor camp below the dam that would replace the current fairgrounds for the county and be the primary use for that, but also provide for another major facility, large scale, that could be used for open air type events, livestock shows, sport boat and travel type shows, gun shows and such in El Dorado. And then finally, one of the major projects we have is replacement of aging 800 megahertz radio equipment for all our public safety and public works across the county, and putting together a program to ensure that occurs. So that's kind of where the county's at, what's been going on over the last 2 years, and what we're looking forward to coming up. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Kroll.
Yeah, thank you, Will. Thanks everybody for being here. I'm appreciative of your time and anxious to have us all together and share some information. So thanks for joining us in person or even on Zoom. So yeah, we've all lived in the same world the last number of months. And you know, a year ago in March, our COVID response at the college was very quick and very efficient. We put together a cross college representative team that we call Critical Incident Management Team, CIMT, that continues to meet. From last March until now, that team has met over 190 hours collectively to mitigate this response and help us figure out how we're going to navigate everything that came in front of us. We extended our spring break an extra week, and in that time frame, our IT staff pulled all the computers, the laptop computers from the computer labs and the classrooms, and repurposed those, more than 700 computers, to create access for our faculty and staff and students that needed to be able to teach, learn, and work remotely. We pretty much sent folks off campus to do their work. And in the process, figured out some great ways to do things. We learned some new lessons and some new processes that we weren't quite sure that we, could have done before. But this was one of those things that, forced us into those situations. And so we made it work. We immediately identified through our faculty development team, we had great faculty that had taught online and remotely for a number of years, and separated out the group of faculty that had taught very successfully and very confidently, and looked at the ones that maybe hadn't had those experiences before, and paired them up together and mentored. So, everybody that's teaching online in the spring, if they hadn't taught, online very much, they had a faculty mentor that walked them through the spring to help them be successful. And one of the things that was really neat was that in the spring, I mean, you worry about what your retention rates are going to be and how your students are going to be from a success perspective. Our retention rates were higher in the spring, and our withdrawal rates were lower. And so that was a clear signal that our faculty and staff worked very, very hard to help these students be successful. And in the midst of all of it as well, one of the things that set us apart, I think, from a lot of our colleague institutions was 5 years ago, our trustees voted in a $2 million capital outlay that was focused on digital transformation on our campus. And we were prepared when we made that switch in March because of the prior year's worth of work to put in new infrastructure and border-to-border wireless and all of those kinds of things that allowed us to make that transition very quickly and very smoothly. And so that was certainly a thanks to our taxpayers over that period of time that allowed us to make that digital transformation and make that switch very conveniently and seamlessly. We centralized all of our processes. And so for, all of our COVID stuff, we centralized it through College Health. So there was one reporting area and, one area that could disseminate information. If our faculty and staff needed accommodations, we sent them to our Office of Disability Services and HR. So again, centralized processes. So there's consistent information that was being shared and consistent processes that were being followed. If students needed accommodations, they went to our Vice President of Academics. And so we worked really hard to keep that information and those processes in place so that it was logical for people to be able to know where they needed to go. In the midst of all of that, we continued to work on this great building with the renovation of the outside, the exterior, and the campus, and the building of our facilities management and engineering construction technology building. And so our construction team and our facilities team continued to work, and this room was a piece of that very important project. We wanted to have community space in this room or in this building, and want the community to join us here. So it's fun to be here today and to be able to meet in this building. We spent the late spring and early summer then working on our protocols to come back to campus and to come back to classrooms in the fall. Lots and lots of work that was done by our faculty and our faculty administrators to figure out what classrooms were going to look like and what COVID capacities there were, and what teaching protocols and learning protocols had to be put in place. And so we had the summer to really work on that and prepare people for that. We had probably, I would guess, probably 70% of our classes in the fall were still face-to-face, but had a remote track that went along because we knew we would have students and staff that would have to switch in and out as they maybe were exposed and had to quarantine, or had family that were ill or kids that were home. And so we really found that balance in the fall in how we managed that learning. And we've carried that over into spring as well. Same processes, same expectations for social distancing and spacing in our classrooms and our labs and things like that. But I don't think that it's necessarily impacted our students' learning opportunities. We did see a significant increase in our online enrollment, even though our face-to-face and on-campus enrollments went down. And that was pretty typical of what other colleges saw as well. We did all of our own in good partnership with the Butler County Health Department and their support. We did all of our own contact tracing on campus through College Health. And so we managed our testing that was sent off. We did testing on campus, but the test results were, tests were sent off for processing, but really managed all of our own contact tracing. And again, I think we're able then to keep our faculty and staff and employees apprised of what, the numbers were on campus and manage those really, really well. The Jayhawk Conference, a lot of our athletic events, of course, were canceled for fall, except for cross country. And so everything is scheduled this spring. And so it's like gangbusters with all of the events going on. I think we have 93 this semester, supposed to have 93 home events between basketball games and soccer and volleyball and football and track, and 120 some that are on the road. Now, are we going to get to play all those? No, because our partner institutions will have exposures and we'll have to cancel and reschedule. But the Jayhawk Conference put together some really significant protocols for us to follow that we're following very, very carefully. We submitted our paperwork to be a vaccination site to assist Butler County, and we're ready to go. If we get the word that there's additional vaccine and that they need to utilize our facilities, we think it'd be a great opportunity for our nursing students and our nursing faculty to engage in a great community event. So we're hopeful that as more vaccine gets rolled out, that we might have that opportunity to host a vaccination site on campus, either here or in El Dorado. We also were the benefit of some significant CARES funding. The first round of CARES funding that came to us, we had $1.8 million that we had to distribute to students based on some very specific protocols, and had $1.8 million in institutional funding that we could use for PPE and for technology in some situations to replace. For instance, we refunded our students housing, the end of their housing contracts when everybody went home in March. And so we were able to replace that revenue loss with some of that funding. We have additional CARES funding that's coming to us. We will be distributing another $1.8 million probably towards the very end of March to our students again. And as Will identified, some of the guidelines are still coming to us for how we get to use our own institutional funding. The student guidelines are fairly clear, but institutional funding, we're still waiting on that information. In the middle of all of this, we also launched a couple of new programs, construction technology on this campus, and there'll be an early college academy that starts in Rose Hill in the fall. We've come to an agreement with Douglas High School to start an ag academy. We're excited about that. And we also, because of the unemployment rates in this area, really launched a number of short-term training programs to really try and lift up this entire area. Lots and lots of folks that maybe wanted to be upskilled and reskilled and come back to school and earn some certifications. And so we did a lot of work in IT and cybersecurity and welding and in the healthcare areas. You have a handout, I think, in front of you. I just want to touch on a couple of things really quickly. On the front page, on the right-hand side, identifies the economic impact, the overall economic impact in this area. And I think it's really significant to look at that and identify that, this area is so integrated, and Andover, I think even your strategic plan identifies you're a suburb of Wichita. This area is so integrated, and Butler County is so integrated with the surrounding areas. We know from our 2019 economic impact study that this college has just short of a $390 million impact in this area. And one of the things that's most significant about that is the student impact, $322.9 million. That's their impact beyond their time at Butler after they graduate and they go to work in this area and they stay in this area. And that's what they create, the productivity that they create in this area through their jobs and supporting their employers and supporting the area economically. And then on the back side, there's a little bit more information that drills down specifically into Butler County. And that's important because this college is supported in part by the Butler County taxpayers. And so of the between $14 and $15 million that Butler County uses to support this college, for which we're really appreciative, the economic impact study helps us understand that the return on just that investment in Butler County is more than $46 million. And again, it's kind of broken down there. You can see what the students spend, what our employees spend, what the colleges spend. This doesn't include any information that includes salaries and benefits and those kinds of things. But we have a significant footprint if you just even look at Butler County alone. And so proud of our partnership in this area. The whole theme of Better Together means just that. We are integrated, we support each other, we're all important parts of this community and county. And I think COVID has again taught us that we can make some difference and make some things really happen if we communicate with each other and work together and find the best path moving forward. So thank you for your time and thank you for being here, especially on behalf of everybody at Butler and especially our students, because that's what our focus is and that's why we're here. We really, really appreciate your belief in our mission and the work that we do to change our students' lives every day. So thank you. I have the privilege now of introducing Brett White, who's the superintendent of the Andover School District and a good friend.
Thanks, Dr. Kroll. As we really begin this the state of the community today, I want to kind of take us back to a community conversation that started a few years ago with our business leaders, community leaders, parents, staff, students, and we really sought to identify those critical skills and qualities and attributes that we wanted in Andover Public Schools graduates. So that was a journey of about 9 months. And we really landed on 5 of the most essential skills and qualities. One, academic preparation, preparing our students for what lies beyond high school. The second, collaboration and communication, really essential for success in life as well as in a career choice. Innovative thinking, finding new ways, thinking outside the box. The fourth one, resilience. And we've seen so much of that as has been touched on throughout the pandemic. And 5, integrity and character. I remember a mentor of mine who said, not everything of value can be measured, and it can be difficult to quantify integrity and character, but so very important. So we have a little slide presentation that's 10 reasons to celebrate in 2021. And I'm pleased that most of these don't have anything to do with COVID. So the first slide is, and
Laura, are you going to show the slides?
there we go. First slide, our students have been in school. Our elementary students have been in school every day on site this year, except for quarantines to meet safety protocols. Our middle school and high school students have been in a hybrid for most of the year, although very pleased to say as of Monday of this week, all of our middle school students are back on site every day, and our 9th and 10th graders are also on site every day. Our juniors and seniors will come back on site when we return from spring break on March 22nd. So this would not have been possible without steadfast leadership from our Board of Education, amazing staff members, really going above and beyond for students every day, resilient students, flexible, adaptable, the support of families, and really the support of our business and community leaders as well. So it's really taken a village to get to this point. I think about it a little bit nostalgic. It was a year ago tomorrow that the NBA was really the first ones, and they canceled, they suspended their season. Then that was followed by college basketball conference tournaments being canceled. We had 2 teams in the state semifinals, the Andover High boys and the Central girls, and then the Acacia Board of Directors voted to suspend the state tournament. So the world really changed. Little did we know when we left for spring break that on March 17th, Governor Kelly announced the closure of schools for the remainder of the spring, and our students wouldn't be back on site learning for 5 months. So it's been a year, and it's really taken everyone to get to this point where we're back and having students on site every day. Our staff are being vaccinated. That has been a game changer. And just a few quick stories there, just to kind of share the power of partnership. Kansas Medical Center called, they had vaccinated their staff. They said, hey, we have some extra. reached out to one of our elementary schools and vaccinated about 25 staff members. During really the bitterly cold snow, ice, just the terrible weather, Mike Roosevelt from the Andover Fire Department came down Friday afternoon. He said, hey, we have a vaccine clinic that's scheduled for Tuesday, but it's elderly population age 80 and over. It's not safe for them to come out in the elements. Would you like to have that for your staff? So we were able to get over 50 staff members vaccinated, really just through, through Mike and the fire department and the city making that available to us there. So Andover Drug has been a tremendous partner. A few weeks ago, they came on site and vaccinated 175 of our staff members. So just the power of community partnerships. We wouldn't have our staff largely vaccinated without the help of many there. So the third slide is a celebration of Horizon Award winners. There are 32 Horizon Award winners every year in the state of Kansas. It really awards exemplary first-year teachers in their second year. So Brooke Hernandez and Victoria Hurst. Victoria teaches second grade and Brooke teaches seventh grade language arts. So we actually had 2 last year as well. So in the state of Kansas, over the past 2 years, we've had 4 of the 64 Horizon Award winners really recognizing those exemplary first-year teachers. Interesting, the families came and we do kind of as Dr. Watson from the commissioner's office calls, and it's a big surprise. Their families are there. Both Brooke's mom actually teaches 7th grade language arts in the Rose Hill district, and Victoria's mom is a 2nd grade teacher in Ohio. So it's just amazing that both of their mothers are not only teachers, but teach the same things as their daughter. So it's just a great way to celebrate there. Next slide is the state champions. We actually on Monday night at our board meeting recognized the Andover Central Scholars Bowl team, won 5A state. And also next month, we'll recognize the swim team from Central High, state champions as well. We also have tomorrow, 3 o'clock in Emporia, the Central girls are back in the state semifinals. This one will not be postponed or suspended, so pulling for them to bring home the title as well. So that's exciting, undefeated season thus far. The next slide is bond progress. I'm glad we're not just beginning the bond projects during COVID. We're on the tail end. It's really been a 5-year process from the master facilities planning. Many in this room were a part of that, to opening Andover High School, Meadowlark, CAPS, Jaguar Stadium this fall, and we'll have Trojan Stadium renovations and the Aquatics Center and the new district office that'll open next year. District office will be spring of 2022. So fantastic progress there. I would say just in the kind of the value of partnership there, the city has been tremendous throughout that entire journey, just to really help guide us and really assist with infrastructure, with lots of support along the way. So thank you to all those at the city. These projects wouldn't have been possible without your support there. Next slide, some additional good news, bond savings. So on Monday night at our board meeting, the board approved a bond refunding that will save taxpayers $3 million total over the course of our debt schedule there. So it's over $200,000 in savings per year, $3,018,000 total through 2034. So just really appreciative of the opportunity to save taxpayers and to really be good stewards of the taxpayers' funds. Slide 7 talks about CAPS experiences. CAPS is the Center for Advanced Professional Studies. It's one of our new buildings that opened in August, and just the opportunity for real life, hands-on, applied learning. You see the students learning CPR, and the middle picture there, they're at McConnell for a mock trial. The other picture, we had a reach out from a family, and their pet duck had been attacked by a dog and had lost its bill. So the engineering students at CAPS went through lots of different versions of the kind of a prosthetic duck bill And so glad to say that that's going well. The duck is alive and well. So, but an excellent opportunity for our students to really partner. And that's really what CAPS is all about, is partnering with business and providing those experiences for students. Next slide, performing arts, adapt and thrive. We're so proud of our performing arts. It's really a hallmark of our district, but you see band, vocal, theater, really just adapting and being flexible with how they conduct their performances, but still giving those students the opportunities that they really, I mean, for many kids, this is the reason they get out of bed and come to school each day. So proud of their efforts. Next slide is the social emotional student health. We have 4 of our elementaries that were recognized nationally for the Capturing Kids' Hearts. It's really about building positive culture, strong relationships, having caring adults and really taking good care of our students. Michelle Adler is the picture on the right there, and she's been hired to really help address the social emotional needs. We know that those needs have only increased during the pandemic, and so we really want to provide leadership opportunities for students. Even one of the things we've been doing the last few years is creating individual plans of study for middle and high school students so they have a path and have a plan for what may lie beyond their high school years. Circling back to the integrity and character, the next slide. Again, not always easy to measure, but I'd love for you to see this video from Central Middle that really, you know it when you see it, and just a great example of character. So we'll show that. It's a couple minutes long, but I think it's pretty powerful. There is sound. I can narrate if needed, but
give me just a second. I have to change my set.
You bet, absolutely. I think the focus on character. Here we go. Yep, we're ready.
As you know, here at Central Middle School, we do a great job of raising high character kids, and our character was on display last night with our 8th grade boys team at May South Middle School. Last night, our students had the opportunity to partner with May South and May South students to help get a young man who'd never played basketball before his first basket. This young man had been the manager for 7th and 8th grade, and in the last game of the year, they suited him up in hopes of getting him his first basket. Our team worked with May South to make this dream become a reality for this young man, and I couldn't be prouder of our 8th grade kids. They have represented our school in a positive way throughout the season, and that doesn't happen just by basketball coaches. It also comes from good work in our classrooms and raising good character kids that can help out a young man like number 10. So enjoy this video and warm your heart with this great celebration in creation with our kids who helped make it happen.
Yep. Awesome. So really, that's what we strive to do every day, is to develop.
Help make other people's lives better. Never get tired of doing little things for others. Sometimes those little things occupy the biggest parts of their hearts. Have a great weekend and keep up the great work.
So it's really that, circling back to the portrait of a graduate, it's lots of things, academics, but also the integrity and character, the collaboration, the resilience, and we've seen all those things on display throughout this past year. Before I end, I do want to just thank my colleagues here, and as mentioned, I think we've got a special relationship among leaders in this community. And I look at Dr. Kroll and Butler Community College, long partnership, and just the thousands of lives that have been impacted over the decades from our relationship with the college, including Butler being extremely flexible and accommodating. I mean, we needed to on the Andover High project. There was lots of coordination with the college as far as relocation, and Dr. Kroll and the staff of Butler could not have been better to work with there. The Becky and the chamber, our Steve, and we have many business and community leaders who have been on advisory committees and task forces and just helping us along the way. So it's so appreciated. The Butler County and Will Johnson, as Dr. Kroll mentioned, the county was so generous, so very generous to our district with those Sparks funds. And that's really what we used to kind of open the doors. And so without those funds, that really supplied our PPE and lots of our safety measures. The county was responsible for that with the Sparks funds. We so appreciate that. I can tell you, counties had the choice of how they distributed those monies, and we could not be more fortunate to be in Butler County. In the city of Andover, Mayor Price, Jenny McCausland, the entire city staff, we've got an outstanding relationship with Chief Keller and the police department, the fire department, just everyone at the city who helps us along the journey. So I think we're in a special place. I agree with you, Mayor Price, that through adversity really comes unique opportunities. And so I'm just so fortunate to be with all of you at the table here, and we're looking for a really bright future. So thank you. At this point, I'll turn things over to Steve Shook, Chairman of the Board for the Andover Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Brett. Again, my name is Steve Shook. I'm the 2021 Andover Chair, and I too have a few notes. But I wanted to make a comment before I started. I've noticed between me and some of my esteemed colleagues up here, the glare is a little bit tough, so bear with me. So first, just a little bit of information on the chamber, some high-level points. Chamber started in 1985. We currently have 170 members, probably down just a little bit, but really considering what we've been through the last year, the membership has just dropped very slightly. So I know it has dropped, but we feel strongly with when the COVID is behind us, we will see our numbers probably even better than they were before. We are a nonprofit 501c6 membership association. We're able to collectively, through our membership, do what one business organization may find difficult to do alone. And that's a little bit of my theme that I want to talk about. The Chamber Board is made up of 15 business professionals from diverse businesses throughout the Andover community. Board decisions are based on our program of work the board completed in January. Each December we have a retreat with all the members, and we really go over the year, but we also set our goals for the next year. So we have some defined goals that we have established this year, broken them into teams, and we're each month when we meet, we go over those goals. Our mission is to promote the business community through advocacy of commerce and enterprise. And a few other things I want to share today. The Andover Chamber offers up to 3 scholarships a year, one for Andover High, one for Andover Central, and possibly one for E-Academy. We have annual events such as the Jingle Mingle, Cornhole Tournament, and annual dinner. And these funds we raise from this help support those scholarships. As everyone knows, a life from COVID has changed the way we are currently doing things at the Chamber. We held approximately 40 virtual meetings, educational seminars, and networking for our members. We hosted over 50 committee and board meetings for the organization, almost all virtually. This is something really I'm proud of. I think a lot of the community saw those moose around. That thing was put together very quickly some great volunteers put a lot of effort into cutting and organizing all those moose. I think there were approximately 50. We raised some money for that as well, but such enthusiasm and positive feedback from the community. And we hope to continue in this tradition in some fashion again this year. The Andover Chamber also has committees that we form. We have a Business and Support Development Committee, meets with meets with a business each month to gain information if there's a need, what their future plans will be, and how the chamber can help them. We have Ambassador Committee. They're kind of like our cheerleaders. They are the faces of the chamber. And they may be the ones you see delivering renewal packets or ribbon cuttings when we have new businesses. We have an events committee. It's more of an ad hoc we form when there's another event. They help plan all the different annual events we have. We're also hoping to form in 2021 a business and education committee. Excited about that. More will come on that later. The chamber has created many partnerships with other organizations through Andover and the state, including the City of Andover, Chamber of Commerce Executives of Kansas, Governor's Council on Education, Wichita Regional Chamber of Commerce, Butler Community College, Andover School District, just to name a few. There's others as well. Becky Wolf is our president of the chamber, and her staff have been instrumental in helping our chamber grow and thrive. I'd like to personally thank Becky for all her dedication and professionalism to her job. To give you an idea of what goes on at office where Becky is, right now she's assisting someone in locating a new business, finding a new location for an existing business. She's been working with a possible new business and steps needed to start a new business here in Andover. In the last day or two, they received over 10 calls for the citywide garage sale. And in the next couple of weeks, it'll be flooded with questions coming in about things like that that are going on. So the chamber, a lot of people look for the chamber for that kind of information. On a personal note, I'm the owner of Music Scene, an Andover music store. My wife, Diana, I started Music Scene in 2011, and we joined the Andover Chamber at that time in 2011. And honestly, for the first 3 or 4 years, we were not very active in the chamber. Paid my membership dues and was waiting for business to come in. And we were very busy starting a business, and we didn't really know how to get involved in the chamber. So that was probably a lot of reason those first few years we were just, it was slow going there. Business was doing okay, but the growth that we were expecting was much slower in those first few years. And luckily in late 2016, the chamber reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be considered for a nomination to the board. I was really immersed in our business at the time and thought about it, but ultimately decided to throw my name in the hat. And fortunately, I was selected and started serving in 2017 on the board. And since 2017, we have seen our business grow tremendously. People we've met in the Andover community have been wonderful. A lot of hard work has gone into our business, but I honestly know that some of that growth that we have has to be attributed to the Andover Chamber. The point I would like to make to all chamber businesses is to get involved, not only with the staff of the Andover Chamber, but reach out to other chamber businesses as well. We have 170 businesses, so there's a strength in numbers. And one example is Bob and Luigi's. Roth Christofferson owns that business. And for something about pizza and people that want to play guitar, they kind of go hand in hand. So he sent a lot of business my way. And so I'm trying to tell everybody about, great pizza there. So that is a way that all the businesses can just work with each other and help grow their business. Finally, in closing, committees and staff strive to provide our chamber members with the best in benefits and service. Please feel free to contact any board member or the chamber office. We would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank everybody for participating today. I'd like to open it up for questions, and if anybody from the audience has any questions directed at any of these panelists, Matt or Laura, I don't know who would be available to do the chat, if anybody would ask questions on the chat from the Zoom.
If there are any, I will let you know.
Okay, thank you, Laura. So do we have any questions from the audience? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Well, I'd like to recognize, there's some people in the audience that I would like to recognize though. Jenny McCausland, who is the city administrator for the city of Andover. She is present. Troy Tabor, city councilman.
President of the council.
Oh, he is president of the council. That is right. I forgot that title. Sorry, Troy. And then we have Lance Onstadt, who is the assistant city administrator, and chief of police, Mike Keller.
I want to recognize one of our trustees, Julie Winslow, is sitting in the audience as well. Thanks, Julie, for coming.
Hi, Julie.
And I think maybe Mary Martha Good might be on Zoom, and maybe Lance Lechtenberg may be on Zoom as well.
They did
so-
register anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. No questions? Any questions from the people joining us on Zoom?
There are no questions, just a comment that you are a great ambassador for the chamber. So
Thank you. Okay, again, I want to thank our panelists up here for sharing their stories. The 2020 was definitely a challenging year, but I think I could speak on behalf of the chamber, we have learned to do things a little differently. And I think moving forward, we're probably going to be doing things differently. Not that we won't, start doing events, and I like this hybrid thing, and I think more people are going to start doing that as we open back up for events and things. So just watch out for what's going on and be informed. And if you don't know, ask the question. These people right here can tell you, what you need to know, and be sure and ask. It's better to know from the source than to try to find out from other ways. So thank you all again for joining us, and thank you everybody on Zoom, and we appreciate it, and have a great day. Enjoy that wind out there.
Yeah, Kansas wind.
Yep. Take care.
Thanks, Becky,
Thanks,
for
Becky.
hosting.